How's it going, everybody? Sorry about that. How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading while the price is going up or down. Over on Dixie for the daily, we did try to drop down, even though we did get a rate cut, so we are pretty flat overall. We did try to fill our gap, but we did not hold in that area, so there is still a possibility we jump up, fill our higher gaps. I would watch for a push forward. This could show that we did try to see some selling pressure, and now with the rate cut, the dollar index may start to move forward because that is seen as a little more bullish. Stochastic is starting to pull back. RSI wants to round. That VWAP is seeing a lower low. Watch as it starts to round here. If we see a lower high, we will see momentum remain bearish. Money flow will continue to drop, and Dixie would continue to weaken. That would typically make crypto go up. But again, we could start seeing them act more correlated soon, especially as we see these rate cuts. Over on Bitcoin dominance for the daily, we are pushing up toward another high. Again, we do have that like 61-62% area. That would be our next range of resistance. Stochastic does want to round. Momentum is rounding. VWAP is pulling back, so watch that close. It's starting to go flat. That is positive. If that VWAP can go flat and gain some momentum, making a higher low, then we could continue to see dominance increase. That would mean Bitcoin would do better than our altcoins. That's all real dominance is a measure of, if Bitcoin is doing better than altcoins and stable coins. So over on total for the daily, we are pushing above that 300 EMA. We did try to break down, so this is positive because this does give us a push above a critical resistance. If we can make this support by getting a strong green candle and continuing forward, we do have that chance to see that bullish breakup we mentioned yesterday, where you break above your pattern, pull back, retest the pattern, and then continue to push forward. Again, that could push us right around that like 722 area. So I would watch because that would be a double bottom with a symmetrical triangle. So the symmetrical triangle would take us up toward that neckline, and hopefully the double bottom would break up above that. Momentum does want to round away. That VWAP is bearish. Money flow is pulling back. Stochastic is dropping, and RSI does want to pull back. But again, if we see a strong green candle next, we could see bullish momentum and altcoins push forward. So over on Bitcoin futures for the daily, we do still have our gap to the downside. We are pretty flat overall. We do have a little bit more momentum than Bitcoin. Bitcoin jumped up about 0.5% lately, or since I looked at last, but VWAP is pulling back. Momentum wants to push forward. Money flow is pushing up. RSI and Stochastic are gaining strength, so we could continue forward. Again, no pattern's 100%, so there is a possibility of invalidating that lower time frame pattern. And lower time frames are weaker than higher time frames. So things like on this 4 hour could help push you up. We do have gaps below us on that 300 EMA though, so watch very close. The next move you want to watch is if we hit that 61.7 and break and hold above it. If we do not, if we hit it and then we reject to our gapped area of that 300 EMA and then we lose that, that's where we could still see the breakdown. However, if we do manage to get that third touch to the top and break up, invalidating our pattern, then we could continue forward. Without that, it's likely we would continue lower. Stochastic does want to push up. VWAP is gaining strength. Our momentum wants to push forward, and money flow is trying to gain strength. So we do look positive. Again, watch that VWAP on lower time frames. It needs to hold more bullish as we push forward to help push us up. Our RSI and Stochastic do want to push forward. VWAP is trying to push up. Momentum is gaining strength. So the 2 hour does look decent here. We do also have some consolidation going on in this range here that could try to create like a flag within our pattern. On futures, it's slightly different looking than on Bitcoin. You could call about that range, and then your break would be from here to here, and then you would measure from there up, and that could give you a break up to around 63.1. If we retrace at that 63.1 and we see that, that's where we could end up filling our lower gaps and seeing that rejection. However, if we do see that push up toward that area and we continue forward, we could leave our gaps behind. Again, exercise caution as we do that, because if we make a new high and we still have these gaps below us, there could be a very big crash. VWAP does want to pull back. Momentum is pushing forward. Money flow is bullish. Stochastic wants to head up, and that RSI is gaining strength. So we do look decent on futures there. So over on Bitcoin, we do have similar where we have that bull flag possibility. But Stochastic is pushing up, RSI is pushing forward, VWAP is overall losing strength. Watch lower time frames. VWAP needs to stay more bullish if we're going to see this get higher high and continue to push momentum higher and give that money flow the strength it needs to go from selling pressure to buying pressure and give us that bullish trend reversal. Over on the 4 hour, we are above our 300 EMA though, so that is positive. We do have a green dot that does signal we want to push forward. Again, both leg possibility here. So you could draw from here to here, and then that would be from your top to your bottom. You would apply that, and that would give you a break right around that 64.1, so about 1K higher than futures. Our stochastic does want to push up. RSI wants to gain strength. That VWAP is trying to hold bullish. We have a higher low, so watch for higher highs. If we can continue bullish here, momentum will continue further, and money flow will continue to gain strength, pushing us further up and invalidating a bearish momentum, leaving those gaps behind, unfortunately. Stochastic does want to push up. VWAP is bullish. Momentum is pushing up here on the 2 hour. Money flow does want to break bullish. So if that VWAP stays bullish, we could see a reversal here. And if it holds for several candles, we could start to see those higher time frames gain strength and give us that break forward. Over on the 1 hour, stochastic is pushing up. RSI is gaining strength. Momentum is running forward. That VWAP I would watch though, as we're trying to make a lower high. If we get a lower high followed by a lower low, we could see momentum break and money flow fall. However, if that VWAP does stay bullish, we will see momentum remain bullish, money flow would remain green, and then higher time frames do still have that chance to break forward. So over on graph for the daily, we are pretty flat. The double bottom may be a little like sideways here, so I wouldn't really count too much on that breakup. I'm going to delete that for my own reference. You can leave it on yours if you would like. Again, TA is an art form, so you may look at things just a little different. Stochastic does want to pull back. RSI is starting to lose strength. Momentum wants to break bearish as that VWAP pushes down, and money flow is starting to become red. So watch that VWAP. If it holds bearish with the slower low and gets lower highs, momentum will break down and money flow will continue lower. It would result in possibly a break of the support area of that 14,316, pushing us back down. I'd want to say around this 13,375, and if we lose that range, I would watch out for that 11,057. Stochastic does want to push up. RSI is gaining strength. VWAP is pushing forward. Momentum does have a bullish divergence with the green dot, and money flow is gaining strength, so we do look positive there. Over on the 2 hour, if I can click the right place, we are coming up on that 300 EMA, so watch very close. If we reject here, we will continue lower. Stochastic is pushing up. RSI is gaining strength. VWAP is pushing forward. Momentum does have bullish divergence, and money flow is trying to go from red to green. So if that 2 hour does look positive, watch for the 1 hour to stay more bullish here. Over on the 1 hour, we did break that 300 EMA. We are breaking our resistance. Ideally, we would pull back, touch this resistance, and continue to bounce. That would give us a retest and a continuation. Stochastic does want to round. RSI is pushing forward. Stochastic could stay overbought for a while and round away, so don't get too overworked about that. Watch that VWAP closer. That VWAP is starting to pull back. As that VWAP gets lower highs with lower lows, momentum could round and money flow could end up slipping bearish. Right now, money flow is green as VWAP is bullish, so that is positive and that can strengthen higher time frames. So over on Ankr for the daily, we are continuing forward. This is positive. We have that push to that 2604. This is a pretty decent consolidation range. If you look at all these candle tops back here, stochastic is pushing up. RSI is pushing forward. Momentum is gaining strength. VWAP is trying to stay bullish, and money flow is trying to gain strength. So watch that VWAP. If it stays bullish, momentum and money flow could get another push up. Over on the 4 hour here, we are trying to break that 300 EMA. That is positive. We did fill that gap we created back here, and we continued forward. We did also fill this gap from back here from last night. RSI does want to push up. Stochastic is gaining strength. VWAP is pushing up. Momentum is gaining strength, and money flow is holding bullish. So if that VWAP can continue with higher lows and higher highs here, momentum could push forward and money flow would remain bullish. That would give us a continuation to the upside, possibly breaking that 2673 and giving us a push toward that 2883. Stochastic does want to push up. RSI is pushing forward. VWAP is bullish on the 2 hour. Momentum is pushing up and money flow is gaining strength. So we do look good here. Over on the 1 hour, we are continuing forward. Again, we have a little gap below this current candle, so exercise caution. That could end up pulling back, and if we don't bounce from that pullback, we could continue lower. But stochastic is pushing up. RSI is gaining strength. VWAP is trying to stay bullish, but starting to pull back. Keep an eye on that. Momentum is pushing forward, and money flow is bullish, but starting to pull back with that VWAP. Again, watch that VWAP close. If it holds bearish, we could see a bearish trend form. Over on XRP for the daily, we did push down to our neckline area, but we pulled back up. So if you paid attention to that, we said to watch for that. So hopefully you aren't betting for the breakdown if you're trying to get a short. If you're trying to buy in, hopefully you had something around that neckline placed in advance, because if you would have placed your trade when you saw it, you wouldn't have gotten filled, but if you would have placed it when we mentioned it last night, there would have been a higher chance. Stochastic does want to pull back. RSI is starting to pull back due to stochastic weakening. Momentum does want to round as that VWAP is starting to push down. Watch that VWAP close. If it breaks that neutral, momentum could fall and money flow would reject that cross to the bullish side, and we would see a continuation of bearish momentum. Over on the 4 hour, we did get a very strong push up off of that neckline, so we will delete this double bottom. Again, it may be invalidated. That may be a push forward. We did break a resistance too, so we may continue forward. Our next resistance area is going to be that 60, and if we can get above that, remember we have like that 61, 62 from back in these peaks. So over on the 4 hour, our RSI is pushing up, stochastic's gaining in strength. VWAP does want to hold bullish, momentum is pushing up with a green dot, and money flow is bullish. Watch for that VWAP to hold. If it does, we could continue further. Over on the 2 hour, we did hold above that 300 EMA. That did give us the push to break that resistance. Stochastic is pushing up, RSI is gaining strength, VWAP is pushing forward, momentum is pushing up, and money flow does want to go from red to green. So if that VWAP stays bullish, we could see that happen, and that could strengthen higher time frames. Over on the 1 hour, we got the same bounce off our 300 EMA. We tried to break it, but then we reclaimed it. We did retest it, and then we continued forward. That's more the ideal move, just like we saw in this 1 hour on the 57. VWAP is pulling back, momentum is pushing forward. Money flow does want to go from green to red to green, so that is positive. If that VWAP stays bullish, we can see that happen, and if that stays bullish for several hours after that, we could see other time frames continue forward. So over on ALGO for the daily, if there are no special requests, we do have an attempt to break down, but we're trying to make a rounding bottom. Watch the next candle. Hopefully it's a strong green candle, as this is a long lower shadow with a rounding bottom. Our stochastic does want to pull back, RSI is starting to push down, momentum is breaking down, VWAP is holding bearish on, money flow is pulling back. So overall, I would exercise caution. On the 4 hour, we are coming up toward that purple EMA at just shy of our 250, that gray EMA. So keep an eye, we are on those really high EMA levels. If we reject these, we could have a very hard time overcoming this EMA band, and we could continue lower still. But if the rest of the market continues forward, ALGO will follow. VWAP is pushing up, momentum is gaining strength, money flow does want to gain strength, so we do look decent on that 4 hour. Over on the 2 hour, we did get a lower low with consistent highs. So this, if you drew a triangle, it would be a backwards descending triangle, or ascending triangle, sorry. So you have an ascending slope, not descending slope, but you don't really trade backward triangles, so I wouldn't trade that as any kind of pattern. Sir James, I appreciate you too, bro. I appreciate you showing up. You all are great followers. I appreciate all of you. But our VWAP is pushing forward as well. If you have any requests, James, let me know in the chat and I'll cover any coin you want. I cover these coins because people requested them, not because I have any particular reason for covering them. They are top coins though. VWAP is pushing up, momentum's gaining strength, and money flow does want to push up. So we are trying to reclaim that 300 EMA. If we can stay above this EMA on these lower time frames, we could see higher time frames strengthen and make a move toward that 1350. Our VWAP is starting to pull back on the 1 hour though. Momentum is pushing up and money flow does want to break bullish. If that VWAP can stay bullish here, we will see price action continue forward. Stochastic is pretty maxed out and RSI doesn't have much further it can go. So it's likely we could continue forward, providing we do not break that 300 EMA. Thank you all for watching. Have a great night.